Okay, boys, good afternoon. Thanks, good afternoon, yeah. Thanks for coming here, sparing this part of your day to come here. Really appreciate that, all of you. I know that some of you could be, a couple of you could be working, but you chose to be here, so that's very good. I'll start by introducing myself, okay? So I'm Fernando. I'll be your teacher for the next 1.5 hours. We've got 2 sessions, and yeah, I've been an English teacher for a long time, probably around 14 years, and yes, so my hobbies are surfing and cooking. I really like doing that. Okay, I'm 37 years of age, and yeah, I hope we can have a good time together. All right, you and I. And we're going to get to know a little bit about each other, okay? So you introduce yourselves, we get to know each other a little better so we feel more comfortable in our classes, okay? Let's start with you, Philippe.
Alright everyone, my name is Philippe, I'm from France, I'm 31 years old, I'm living in Australia for 3.5 years. I would say our common ground is surfing because I really love it as well. So
okay, nice.
We get along.
We get along, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Alright, and so you like surfing, and how long have you been here in Australia for, man?
3.5 years.
3.5 years, and do you like it here?
Yeah, I love it here.
Alright.
It's fun. Waves are good.
Waves are good.
Beautiful part of the world.
Okay, and do you plan on staying here for good?
Yeah, working on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Good to hear that. You, man? What's Don't be shy, man. It's okay. We're all learning English, So of course, that some people, some of you will know better English than others. That's all right. So just respect the differences, and you'll be fine. You're Leandro, from Brazil, right?
From Brazil. I'm from Santos. I'm here in Australia to improve my English.
Okay.
I think I'm doing well.
You are doing well, man. Yeah. I actually followed your path here, and I can see that you're improving. That's good.
That's it. So I'll keep studying English.
Right. Do you normally study at home? Do you read books?
Yeah, I like to study at weekends.
Okay.
And then I have more time to do.
Right. And then during the week you prefer to do other things.
Yes, I go to school and I work in
Okay.
the afternoon.
And do you like studying English, man?
I think know English is something very important.
Yep.
And everybody should know how to
Okay.
speak English
Yep. That's
properly,
very true. Yep.
And that's it.
Good. Good. Yeah, it's good to get to know
Yeah.
stuff about each other. You?
I'm Leandro from Portugal.
All right. So you guys have the same name.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay. Different countries. Is there much difference between Portuguese from Portugal and Portuguese from Brazil?
Yeah, it is different.
Okay.
Yeah. The accent, of course, so different.
All right.
Between the Brazilians,
Okay. All right. Good to know. And you're from Portugal.
Been living here for the past 5 years.
All right. And how old are you?
I'm 30.
All right. Nice. Okay.
Also love surfing.
That's good.
And pretend to stay in Australia maybe forever.
You pretend to stay here forever. Do you understand what pretend?
Oh no.
All right. Do you guys know what pretend means? Do you
I
understand?
think that I do.
You do?
I like to think I do.
Okay. And you, man? Do you know what pretend means?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Philippe, do you know what pretend means?
Yeah,
I
you're
know
right.
it.
What does it mean, guys?
It's just a little bit hard to explain because
Something to
Like
want to.
Yeah.
fake.
Something that you want to do? No, it's actually called pretend is what we call a false friend. It's a word that you think is something, but the meaning is totally different. It's probably similar to a word in your language,
All right.
but the meaning of pretend in English means to. So if you go to work and you don't work, you see your boss.
You pretend to.
And you pretend that you're working, but you're not really working. That is to pretend. Okay. So what would be the best word for us to use here?
Intend.
To intend or to plan. So I intend to, I plan to. So you said that you intend to stay here forever if possible.
Yes.
Very good. And what do you do for work?
Work in the timber yard.
Timber yard, okay. Just moving
and
timber.
hardware company.
Okay. Do you like the job, man?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Alright.
Pretty crazy.
You get to start work in the afternoon, surf in the mornings.
Yeah,
And have you ever studied English, man?
Never.
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 So how come you learned English?
Just
Hands-on,
Yeah.
living here, being forced
Mhm.
to learn it, okay. And being a little intelligent too, because when you're stupid, sorry, yeah, it's just a joke. But of course that everyone can learn it, guys. It's a matter of dedication, you know. So yeah, good on you. Alright, what about yourself, man?
I'm Kayo.
Kayo,
I'm from
right.
Syria.
Alright, Kayo.
I've
good.
been here in Australia for just a week. Just arrived.
You just arrived. And how come you speak such good English, man?
I've been studying all my life.
All your life, right.
Almost all my life.
Okay, good. So you obviously like the language.
I do. I really
Alright, good man. And do you have any hobbies, things that you like to
do.
do?
Yeah, I came here for a wine course.
A wine course, wow man,
And-
sophisticated huh? So you like the wine and your cheese? Okay,
Yeah. So I'm here for the course just for a little month.
alright,
That's it.
okay.
And I'm go straight to France.
You going to France, alright.
Wines, you know.
Oh,
That's
maybe
all
this
French.
guy can, introduce you
Yeah,
someone there where you can hook up with and stay with. Alright?
So, yeah.
That's good. Very, very good, guys. So, it's always good to get to know each other, see that we have, as Philippe said, common ground, that we have some similarities, and that's really good. And now I prepared a class, which is going to be a listening class. I have a little excerpt, which is a part of an article of a magazine. So we're going to read it, and we're going to talk about it a little bit, and then we're going to do the exercise, okay? So can everyone read what we have there? Find below an interesting and useful insight on non-native speakers, showing the difference between native and non-native speakers. Okay? Good. Alright, Leandro,
Yes.
Which one?
Portuguese Leandro, please. Can you read that for us, please, giving others a chance?
When trying to communicate in English with a group of people with varying levels of fluency, it's important to be receptive and adaptable, tuning your ears into a whole range of different ways of using English, Jenkins says.
Okay, so do you understand what this means? So when you talk to people, with different groups of people, they have different levels of fluency. And so it's really important to adapt, to be receptive and to be able to adapt, because we have, English speakers from all parts of the world. They can be from China, they can be from Ireland, Australia, and some accents a bit harder than others, of course. Alright, can you continue please, Leandro?
Yeah. People who've learned other languages are good at doing that, but native speakers of English generally are monolingual,
Monolingual, yeah.
monolingual and not very good at tuning into language variation, she says.
So do you understand monolingual? What is
They
monolingual?
only speak English. They don't speak another language.
Yeah, they only know a language. In this case, would be English. So they only know their language, and they don't know any other language. Therefore, for them, it becomes hard to understand people with different accents and stuff, because they're not used to different accents. They only know English. That's everything they've ever known. Therefore, they're not used to language variation, variation in sounds. So sometimes you say, oh, Australians or American people, they're not patient. They don't understand what I'm saying, and I'm saying it right, but they don't understand it. Well, what happens is sometimes this little difference in pronunciation that you may have, there's nothing wrong with it. People have different accents, but sometimes this little variation causes people not to understand you. So that can make it even more complicated. Okay. Continue, please, Andrew.
In meetings, Anglophones tend to speed along at what they consider a normal pace and also rush to fill gaps in conversation according to sales.
Yeah, so Anglophones, the people who speak English, right, the native speakers, they tend to speed along, so they go quickly, what they consider to be a normal speed. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're talking really fast, but for them it doesn't feel like it's fast at all. And they fill gaps in conversation, so sometimes you don't really know if it's a word, if it's a phrase, if it's two words connected, makes it even more difficult for us, okay? Kayo, can you continue, please?
Yeah, sure. In meetings, is that it?
It could be
Ah,
that.
yes, oh, thanks. It could be that non-native speaker is trying to formulate a sentence, he says. You just have to wait a heartbeat and give them a chance. Otherwise, after the meeting, they come up and say, what is all of that about? Or they walk away and nothing happens because they haven't understood.
Yeah. Okay, so what happens is sometimes when you have people who are non-English speakers talking to someone who is an English speaker, it takes time for you to formulate the sentence when you want to express yourself. And sometimes native speakers, they're not patient to wait this time that you need to formulate, to construct your sentence, or to understand what is being said. So sometimes you have a meeting, and the person hosting the meeting is a native English speakers, and the other people, they're non-native English speakers. And sometimes the host, the native speaker, thinks that everybody understood everything, but in the end of the meeting, the non-native speaker person will ask a question showing that they didn't understand what the meeting was about. And this can cause all sorts of confusion. In normal life, it's already a problem, but in the business world, it's even more complicated, okay? So he recommends making the same point in a couple of different ways and asking for some acknowledgement, reaction, or action. Acknowledgement is when you understand, when you recognize something, okay? If there's no participation, Stagos cautions, you don't know whether you've been understood or not, okay? Do you guys understand what we just read?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Do you feel like this sometimes when you're trying to communicate with a native speaker, that they don't have the patience to wait for you to formulate your sentence, or sometimes they are too direct or they're not clear enough? Do you feel like this?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes? Philippe, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, it happened to me before.
Okay.
It's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
Especially here in Australia, the English is not the easiest to understand.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, like, if I have a chance to say, look, would you be able to, speak slowly to me so I can understand what you're saying? And then, yeah, it's just hard sometimes, but I think it's just getting better and better for me.
Okay. Does everyone agree with Philippe?
Yes.
Yeah? That's good. That's very good. So we're gonna do this little listening activity here now. I'm gonna play it twice. Alright? So let's see what you can understand. It goes from exercise 1 to 5. It's a pretty simple listening activity. So we're gonna listen to it the first time, try to absorb as much as we can, and then we'll listen to it for a second time to double check everything. Is that alright?
Yeah.
The topic is about a job interview. Is everyone following it? Good. Just give me a second.
Hi, thanks for coming to the interview today. It's nice to meet you.
Well, thank you.
To begin with, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, I've always been interested in teaching in a language program like this, and I graduated with a degree in English and psychology 8 years ago.
Oh, pretty both.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then I landed my first job overseas in Japan.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. What did you do there? What kind of work?
Well, I worked full-time for a private language school in Tokyo for the first 2 years, and then I found a job at a community college.
Oh, really? So exactly what did you do in your work there then?
Well, I taught English and culinary arts.
You taught cooking classes?
Well, I know it sounds like an unusual combination, but I completed a program in culinary arts before I got my English and psychology degrees.
Oh, wow, you've done a lot, haven't you?
Yeah.
So what exactly, how did you teach and what exactly did you do?
Well, many of my students wanted to become chefs in restaurants, or they wanted to start their own restaurants. And in our area, there were many tourist spots. A lot of tourists came to that particular area. And so
Okay,
with English, they would be able to communicate not only with suppliers, things that they needed for the restaurants, food and so forth, but also their customers. And so I taught them English and cooking at the same time.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That's interesting.
And tasty. It was.
Oh, I bet. So why did you return to the United States? How long have you been back?
I've been back for probably about a year now.
Okay, so what brought you back then?
Well, one of my former students opened a sushi restaurant in town, and he asked me to work with him.
Really? What's the name of the restaurant?
Well, it's called Flying Sushi. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, I've been there. Their food is fabulous. It's top notch. It's really hard just to get a reservation there.
I know. And well, I worked there 2 weeknights, and then
So 2 nights a week you're working there still?
right.
Okay,
And then, but now I want to return to teaching. I've also been working as a therapist at a treatment center for teenagers struggling with depression and other mental health disorders.
Oh, wow. That would be a really interesting job.
It is.
Wow, you have such a wide range of experiences. To be honest, we have 15 people who are applying for this position. You've got quite a background, but why don't you tell me 3 reasons why you would be the best person for this job?
Well, first of all, I understand that different students have different learning styles. And for that reason, I've used iPads, video, music, cooking, drama, role plays, and games to reach every student.
That's good.
And second, I have a background in academic and psychological counseling and advising, skills that are often needed, in working with international students.
Yeah, that could be really helpful.
So, many of them struggle with emotional turmoil, homesickness.
Yeah, coming to a new place.
Right, and so making the transition can be very overwhelming. And
Good. So what would you say would be a 3rd reason?
and finally, I speak 4 different languages.
4.
Yeah.
Wow. What languages do you speak?
Well, I speak Spanish, Portuguese, and Japanese at an advanced level.
At an advanced level. Wow.
And I also speak Arabic at a high intermediate level.
Well, that's very, very impressive. You do have an impressive resume.
Thank you.
What we're doing, we're going to have 2 rounds of interviews. We will contact you on It's nice.
Right, so this guy would obviously be able to communicate with you, he speaks Arabic, and you too. Probably not with you because he doesn't speak maybe in English. Were you guys able to get all the answers?
I missed one.
You missed one? Okay. So we're gonna listen to it one more time. Alright, is that okay? Just one more time, let's try it. When you're doing a listening activity, it's really important to just use your ears, because sometimes when you're thinking about something else or looking about something else, it distracts you, but just concentrate on your ears, on your listening, Sometimes you can even close your eyes, it helps. But not in this case, otherwise you won't be able to choose the right answer. So I'll play it one more time, okay?
Thank you.
To begin with, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, I've always been interested in teaching in a language program like this, and I graduated with a degree in English and psychology 8 years ago.
Oh, pretty both.
Yeah, and then I landed my first job overseas in Japan.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive. What did you do there? What kind of work?
Well, I worked full-time for a private language school in Tokyo for the first 2 years, and then I found a job at a community college.
Really? So exactly what did you do in your work there then?
Well, I taught English and culinary arts.
You taught cooking classes?
Well, I know it sounds like an unusual combination, but I completed a program in culinary arts before I got my English and psychology degrees.
Oh, Wow, you've done a lot, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, what exactly, how did you teach and what exactly did you do?
Well, many of my students wanted to become chefs in restaurants, or they wanted to start their own restaurants. And in our area, there were many tourist spots. A lot of tourists came to that particular area. And so
Okay.
with English, they would be able to communicate not only with suppliers, you know, things that they needed for the restaurant's food and so forth, but also their customers. And so I taught them English and cooking at the same time.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That's interesting.
And
So-
tasty. It was.
Oh, I bet. So, why did you return to the United States? How long have you been back?
I've been back for probably about a year now.
Okay, so what brought you back then?
Well, one of my former students opened a sushi restaurant in town, and he asked me to work with him.
Really? What's the name of the restaurant?
Well, it's called Flying Sushi. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, I've been there. Their food is fabulous. It's top notch. It's really hard just to get a reservation there.
I know. And well, I worked there 2 weeknights, and then
So 2 nights a week you're working there still?
right.
Okay,
And then, but now I want to return to teaching. I've also been working as a therapist at a treatment center for teenagers struggling with depression and other mental health disorders.
Oh, wow. That would be a really interesting job.
It is. It is.
Wow, you have such a wide range of experiences. You know, to be honest, we have 15 people who are applying for this position. You've got quite a background, but why don't you tell me 3 reasons why you would be the best person for this job?
Well, first of all, I understand that different students have different learning styles. And for that reason, I've used iPads, video, music, cooking, drama, role plays, and games to reach every student.
That's good.
And second, I have a background in academic and psychological counseling and advising,
Uh-huh.
skills that are often needed, you know, in working with international students.
Yeah, that could be really helpful.
So, you know, many of them struggle with emotional turmoil, you know, homesickness.
Yeah, coming to a new place.
Right, and so making the transition can be very overwhelming.
Good. So what would you say would be the 3rd reason?
And finally, I speak 4 different languages.
4.
Yeah.
What languages do you speak?
Well, I speak Spanish, Portuguese, and Japanese at an advanced
At
level.
an advanced level. Wow.
And I also speak Arabic at a high intermediate level.
Well, that's very, very impressive. You do have an impressive resume.
Thank you.
What we're doing, we're going to have 2 rounds of interviews. We will contact you on Friday and
Okay.
let you know whether or not you'll be coming back for the 2nd round of interviews.
Alright guys, not really hard to understand, huh?
Nah.
It's quite
Oh.
difficult, but
Quite difficult, you reckon?
yeah, right.
Okay. Do you know what struggle means?
Yeah.
What is a struggle?
When something's not that easy.
When something is not that easy, when you have a hard time, when it's difficult for you to do something, that's a struggle. Okay. He's saying something about kids and people who struggle with mental health issues.
Depression, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so the man studied English and psychology at the university. Very good. He found his first job in Japan at a
Community college.
Private language school.
private language school. Yes, guys. That's,
Yeah.
yes.
And he says his first job was in a community college.
Yeah.
First
First
job,
he
that was the
says,
second job, I think.
Private language school.
that's why it's a little bit tricky.
Tricky?
Tricky, yeah.
Okay.
Can you
You want to
play
do that?
again?
Yeah. Let's play again.
The community, I think it was his second
He
Yeah,
job.
says
he's
his
right.
first
Okay.
job was in.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, yeah, well, I've always been interested in teaching in a language program like this, and I graduated with a degree in English and psychology 8 years ago.
Oh, really, both?
Yeah,
Wow.
and then I landed my first job overseas in Japan.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive. What did you do there? What kind of work?
Well, I worked full-time for a private language school in Tokyo for the first 2 years, and then I found a job at a community college.
Right. So you worked at a private language school for the first 2 years, and then yeah. When we do listening activities, especially if you do something like the IELTS, I don't know if any of you has ever done like a test such as IELTS,
I
but
haven't done yet.
you have to pay attention. You have to be really focused because sometimes the difference is minimal. You know, they're not going to be saying exactly what you want to hear, so you really have to be alert for details. Okay, the men's cooking students wanted to.
Practice
They don't
English with tourists.
No, they wanted to open their own restaurants.
Yeah, but why they need to learn English to open their own?
I kind of
No,
thought
no,
it was like A and B. If we could
If you,
choose more
I
than
don't know if you remember, but he said his specialty was culinary arts.
Correct.
Alright?
Ah,
So
yeah, correct.
he mentions that. So it's got to do with cooking as well.
Yeah.
Alright?
It says that all of them wanted to open their own restaurants, but he also says that they wanted to practice English with tourists.
They wanted to practice English, sure, yeah. But the main reason was that they were
With the
open.
tourists.
Yeah, alright. Now the man works at a Japanese restaurant and
Mental health treatment center.
yes, he didn't say I work at a mental health treatment center, but he said that he helps people advising these people who have mental health issues. Okay, the man should be a good candidate for a job because he
Has experience in psychological
Yes,
counseling.
many different countries was the main reason, I think.
You think that because he has taught in many different countries? Okay. Well, guys, we have the right to express our opinions, you know. But of course, there's one of them that's right. And which one is it?
B.
B. He has experience in psychological advising.
I remember.
Alright. No, you're not wrong, Leandro. He has also taught in many different countries, but I think that the thing that really makes him stand out is the fact that he has experience in psychological advising. Okay, guys. Now I want you to think. I want you guys to think about your own major or future career. I don't know. Do you see yourself doing what you are doing now, but in 5 years' time? What do you see? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Work-wise, job-wise, what do you want to be doing?
I don't see myself doing exactly the same job, but I see myself working for the same industry.
All right. Well, that's
And
hospitality.
Even the same company, but like in a better
So
position.
you work with hospitality, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I work in this hotel down in Manly Beach,
Alright.
and I really wanna set my path
Okay, good.
with them. Yeah.
That's it. Right, Leandro?
I wish one day I open my own business.
You could open your own business.
And work for myself.
Work for yourself.
Yes.
All right. And what kind of business would it be?
I am a computer technician,
Right.
so I fix all kinds of computers.
Nice.
And I also do support for people.
All right. Good. So something related to computers.
Yes,
Fixing
fix
computers.
computers.
Cool.
support.
Right. And Philippe
Giving
wants to
support,
work in the
yeah.
hospitality industry. Leandro, where do you see yourself working 5 years time? And
I have a pretty good job at the moment, so
okay.
I'm planning to stay in the company for a few more years.
All right. But is there a position within the company that you aim for? You want to see yourself?
Yeah, I think they're creating a new position soon for me, like for being like stock manager for all the stores. They have like 5 stores.
Yeah, but what's your goal within the company? Like, what's a position within the company that you would like to have as an employee in the company?
Maybe
CEO.
a manager.
CEO. Maybe a
of one
manager.
store.
All right, okay. So a manager of a timber company. Philippe wants to work in the hospitality industry, and the other wants to have his own business. What about you, Kyle?
Just keep doing what I'm doing now.
Just keep
studying about wine and
Studying, become a wine connoisseur,
a sommelier.
sommelier, or a connoisseur in
A
English.
connoisseur.
Yeah.
So a connoisseur. So that's my next step. To be
All right, man. Okay.
Traveling the world. and-
Tasting wine and getting paid for it. Not a bad job at all, huh? Okay, guys. So I want you to think about 4 qualities or qualifications that help people in the field that you mentioned. Each one of you mentioned a field. Okay, so hospitality, having your own business, becoming a manager, and becoming a wine connoisseur. So I want you to think of 4 qualities or qualifications that you need to have to be successful in this area that you chose. Oh, okay, let's say you want to have your own business. All right, I want to have my business. I want to be a computer technician. I want to own my own business. What are the 4 qualities that you need to have this, to achieve this aim of yours, this position that you desire? Philippe, you want to work in the hospitality industry, maybe you see yourself as a manager or doing something else. But what I want you to think of 4 qualities,
Right.
4 qualities that a person needs to be successful. Same for you, Leandro. You know, you want to be the manager of a timber company. What are the qualities, the 4 qualities that you think that a good manager, a successful manager needs to have? And you, to be a wine expert, what are 4 of the qualities that you, what are 4 qualities that you think people should have to be successful in the industry? I'm gonna give you a few minutes for you to work it out. If you want to write it down, perfect. If you want to list it, you know, list it up. If you don't, you know, I'll give you a couple minutes anyways.
Can I check my phone to see the words right?
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Connoisseur.
So that's the pronunciation.
Connoisseur.
Okay.
And the spelling? Oh yeah.
Connoisseur.
Is that a French word?
That, oh, you should be telling us that. You know, you're French, man. Of course, it's a French word. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, it sounds like
Sounds the
French
same.
word.
Yeah. I thought. Yeah. Thought so. All right, guys. One more. Whoa, lazy. You should be lazy. Slack.
No,
No, that's not what we want. Alright guys, time's up. Let's start with Philippe, please.
So, as I said, I work for this hotel now in Manly, and I work for the front office team.
Okay.
My goal in 5 years is to become front office manager.
Alright.
For that to happen, I think there's quite a few things that I need to do before I get there. Of course, getting more experienced. And the hotel will also be training me for that.
Okay.
I think I should learn other languages as well.
All the languages, right?
Because I've noticed that, as you said, the Australians, they're
Monolingual.
monolingual. So not like in this industry, I think if you speak other languages, that will help me to stand out. That
Okay.
would be good for me.
Alright. Languages.
If I could get a degree on management, that would be good, and I'm working on that already.
Okay.
I'm attending this course which is called Leadership and Management.
Oh, nice.
So that will be a plus as well.
That's very nice, Felipe.
And I guess being passionate for what I do, like you just don't work for the money, you feel
Wow.
like what you do.
Being
That's
passionate,
also-
yeah, that's very important, man. You gotta have love in whatever you do.
Yeah.
Well, that's very good, man. Congratulations. We're really well. You express yourself really well, and that's what you want. You want to convey your idea the best way you can, and good job. Leandro, please.
I pick it up 4 words.
Okay. Sorry to correct you, Leandro, but it's you can say I picked 4 words
Yeah.
up,
Yes.
or I picked up 4 words.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay. So, passionate,
To be passionate.
to be passionate.
Okay, that's
Okay.
yes. Philippe
Yeah.
released it. Yeah. Passionate.
Clever.
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 Okay. So passionate, clever. You seem to be a clever boy.
Yeah. I have to create a focus. I have to have a focus.
All right. So focus.
Focus.
All right. Focus. Perfect. And
I need more time to.
you need more. Okay. So you want to repeat the 3 that you chose,
Yeah.
please?
So
Pronunciation is
pronunciation passionate,
passionate.
clever,
No.
clever,
Clever.
and focus.
And focused.
Focused.
Yeah. All right. Very good. I have to agree with you on that one. Please, Leandro. Portuguese, Leandro.
So I think if I want to achieve this position, like being a manager, I need to just keep working hard, being dedicated to the job,
Dedicated. Okay.
studying more about like timber and the products,
Okay. Do your homework. Yeah. Okay.
and just improve my knowledge.
Right. So improve your knowledge. Work hard. To get to know your product. So that's what you want, guys. You can't get anywhere in life without working hard, right? Do you know anyone who became really successful without working hard? Probably someone who won the lottery, but I know someone back in my country. You know, the mother dreamed of some numbers. I think you met them
Really?
too, yeah. And so
Are you French as well? Or do you
no, yeah. Well, I think they're Brazilian French. Okay. But anyways, so what happened was the mother dreamt of some numbers, and that's in Santos, hometown. And so the mother told the father. And the father played the numbers in a city called Cubatão, and the mother played in Santos. So they hit the numbers, they hit the lottery, and they won. At the time was 10 million reais. But you know what happened? 3 years later, the mother found out that she had cancer.
Wow.
And she's dead nowadays. But it's really crazy because they were really poor. Like the refrigerator, they had a strap holding the refrigerator because they were so poor. And well, if you see their houses now, where they live, it's a 3-story penthouse and everything. But 3 years later, the mother found out she had cancer, and so she removed the breast, it went to her back, and she died. It's a crazy story, but yeah. It happens. All right, Kaio, please.
Oh, I picked palette.
Sorry.
Palette.
Oh, palette.
Yeah.
To have, to have profound, a deep palate.
Yeah.
So you can really taste things. Yeah, right.
And experience.
Experience, palate. Yeah.
And keenness.
Keenness. You have to be keen. You have to
Yeah.
want it. That's a good word, man. Yeah, you have to be keen.
And it was a little bit hard to find the fourth one, so I put just sociable.
To be sociable.
To,
Yeah.
You know.
I think the qualities you picked are really, really important, man. Like, you can't be a wine connoisseur or any kind of connoisseur if you don't have good palate.
Yeah.
First of all, and then, as you said, sociable, because you have to know how to deal with people in several sorts of situations. So yeah, guys, you expressed yourselves really well. Really happy with the outcome of this class. For next class, I want you guys, each one of you will give a little presentation on the importance of speaking proper English. Understand? Proper, correct English.
Yes.
Considering the fact that it's your second language. But why is it important to speak proper English? Because you have proper English and you have really wrong English. You know, some people just get by speaking wrong English and they think it's fine for them. But you don't think like that, obviously, because you're having classes, you investing your money and your time here, so obviously you want an outcome, better outcome. You want to be able to communicate better, you want to be able to express yourselves better, and you also want to be able to understand better. So that's really good, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks very much. All right, I'll see you later. All right.